Hello, everybody. Welcome. Give you all a chance to get into this session. It is the penultimate session of Typeforum. Hopefully you have enjoyed everything so far. There has been a lot of information shared today, some really exciting updates, but it doesn't end there. We have more to come for you. This session is all about our video and audio features. My name's Grace. You may have seen me around the Typeform community in the past. Feel free to say hi in the chat. We have Phoebe and Precious from the Typeform team that are in there saying hello to you all today. If you have questions during today's session, you can use the Q&A box for that one. It's actually easier if you pop them in the Q&A box so that we don't lose them in the chat. And then we will get to them at the end of today's session. And don't forget, we are recording all of this. So if you need to drop out at any point, don't worry, we have got you back and we'll be sending out those recordings to you tomorrow. So super excited to get into this one. Let's have a look at what's coming up on today's agenda. So I've already introduced you all. Next up, I'm going to share who our fantastic speakers are today. We've got an all-star lineup. We're going to be doing a bit of a fireside chat with one of our community champions and customers. We're also going to be taking you through some of our top tips and best practices for using the video features in Typeform. We've got a very sleek demo to share as well, just in case you haven't seen any of our video features yet. Don't worry, we've got you back there as well. And we're going to share another real world customer story as well before we dive into Q&A. So a lot to get through today. Hope you are feeling pumped and ready. Hope you got yourself hydrated after the last session. So let's have a look who is joining us today. Well, I'm going to be joined very shortly by Darnell Brown. He is a creative polymath and community builder, founder of Forge. He's been a long-time Typeform community champion, and we're super excited for him to join us today because he adopted video features quite a while back. So he's got a lot of experience to share. Obviously, there's me, Grace. I'm going to be hosting today's session. We're also going to hear from Mau Munoz later on, who is one of our senior product managers here at Typeform. He's going to walk us through the features that we're talking about. And also we're going to hear from Suzie Blaszkiewicz, who is our video production manager here at Typeform. She's got some great tips to share with you all about recording best practices. And finally, we're going to hear from Abir Syed, who is the co-founder of Upcounting, and they've been using video questions and video answers in their recruitment workflows. So lots to share with you today. Someone in the chat is asking, where am I based? And I am in the UK at the moment. So moving on, why should you consider video? Well, we definitely know that, I say we definitely know, we haven't done the research, but we've looked into the research. 91% of businesses are already using video as part of their marketing workflows in some way, and they're getting great conversion results. So it makes sense to think about putting video into your Typeform workflow as well. So we're seeing more and more customers adopting video for lead generation, customer engagement, feedback and testimonial collection is a really useful one. So great to be able to collect a video answer now in Typeform, which you could maybe share somewhere as a cool customer story, and also talent acquisition as well. We want to run a quick poll with you now before we get started. We want to know about whether or not you've tried using video in Typeform yet. So let's have a look. Let me launch this poll. You should see it on your screens now, and you can vote on whether or not you have used Typeform video already. Do you love it? Is it on your to-do list? Did you not even know that we had video in Typeform? Share your, well, whatever your answer is now. And it's going to help us really kind of gauge where the audience is at. There's a lot of people here that are saying that they didn't realize it was an option. So this is exciting. Hopefully we're going to help you unlock a brand new feature here today. Amazing. So let's end that one for now. So yeah, it looks like a lot of people didn't realize it existed. Some people got it on their to-do list, and we have a few people out there that love it or are just getting started as well, which is awesome. I'll share that with you real quick so you can see what's going on. And let's get on to the next slide. So I'm going to move this out of the way. Okay, so next up, I'm going to invite Darnell Brown up onto the stage. Darnell, as I said, has been championing Typeform for quite some time. So we are super excited to have him up here. Darnell, let's introduce you to all the folks out there. Thank you so much for joining me today, Darnell. How are you doing?
I'm doing well on this Thursday. I hope that you and our viewers watching this are also doing wonderfully on their sides of the globes. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. It's always a pleasure and looking forward to diving in.
We appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Just to share a bit of background for everyone out there, Darnell got into using video through Video Ask, which is our sister product. And now he's starting to plug video into Typeform workflows as well. So he's got a real wealth of experience with getting on camera and cooking up engaging workflows and attracting those leads and building relationships with customers. So this is going to be a good one. So Darnell, I'm going to put you in the spotlight now. And I'm going to grill you, basically. I'm going to ask, I've got some good questions, which I'm really hoping is going to unlock a lot of information for our audience today. So Darnell, will you take us back to the beginning? Tell us a little bit about what made you to decide to start using video in your forms. Was there a particular problem that you were trying to solve? What was the challenge? What made you think video?
So, what got me excited initially was the response that I was getting from using video in your sister product, Video Ask. So, I was so encouraged by how people were reacting to that and them saying that they had never seen things like that before. And what's this technology about? How did you put that together? Those sorts of things. So I was already encouraged from, again, that response there. And then I I already had strong interest in seeing what video could be like in the context of a type form. So like even before this was a feature, I was like, that'd be great if we could merge or blend like two of these things into one so that I wouldn't have to jump between these two products that much. And then it was also about being at the forefront of something that, as we see from the poll results, not a lot of people even know about. And anytime that you can be on the cutting edge or kind of a first adopter with things, you're standing out just already. So I liked that idea of making that transition for those reasons. And again, I was already thinking about it before it became a thing because I was like, I'd love to be able to pull some video ask features into my forms and what could that look like. So I remember us having conversations about that in the past, and then to see it come to fruition, um, I was like, okay, now it's here. Now it's time to start using it. How, like, let's just dive right into it. So in terms of like the particular problem that I was trying to solve with it, uh, I definitely wanted to decrease my drop off rates. I think that's something that a lot of us resonate with, getting people to get through the end of our forms, those completion rates, we want those to be high. We want to be able to elicit the data that we're looking for from our respondents. So I also, Grace wanted to find a way to make my forms more irresistible because it's like if I can show up and if I can engage you from the very first second versus just using text. So that's why I like to use them from the very first question onwards, or at least if it's not going to be used anywhere else, like that's where I'm going to start out with. If I can make my videos more resistible, like that was also something that I wanted to solve, because if it can become irresistible, then now people will stay to the end. You can get the data that you need to, you can review it, you can make the changes that you want to. I also wanted to get form respondents to like lighten up, to relax, to like put their guards down and stuff. So video helped out with those elements too, versus like seeing just static text, coming off as probably a bit clinical in terms of whether or not you're like using fancy jargon or you're using too simple of language. Like you can just get away from all of that and just, okay, you can see me. I may be nervous. You may be able to tell that I'm nervous on video, but if you can, then now you're starting to relax a little bit too, and you're like, oh, maybe I'll get through to the end of this form. And then lastly, just being able to, the other problem I was trying to solve was just like elicit the feedback that I was wanting to get in a quicker manner. So all of the time that it might take me to figure out interesting ways to ask questions or to gather um, very like nuanced responses, I said I can probably communicate that a little bit better through video and make this form more interesting so that they have no choice but to fill it out. So those are the problems that I was trying to solve with them, if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. And I love that you were really trying to get ahead of the game and do something that maybe you weren't seeing other people in your field do by adopting video.
Yeah, yeah. I've always, I like doing, going against the trend. I like, as I say, chasing the void and being at the forefront of new things. So if video was already working in this one context, if I can put those into forms too, that just to me was a no-brainer. That just gave me even more reason to be like, okay, now my forms will be a lot cooler now. And I will feel better about creating more forms on a more regular basis.
Love it. Thanks, Darnell. Um, Once you started using video more, what impact did you see? So have you seen sort of a difference in the results? You touched briefly on being able to kind of like loosen people up a little bit and make people feel comfortable, and then feeling like that might encourage them to actually respond, get to the end of your form, submit their information, connect with you further. What did that look like from that side of things?
Three basic things. One, the completion rate increased. To your point on your slide where you were talking about the percentages, so this stuff really works. I'm probably a part of that percentage as well too, where that was an inclination that I had in the first place, Grace, which was like, if I can include video on this, like I think people will have less of a reason not to fill it out. So I said, if for no other reason, if I'm trying to gather more data, this just makes a lot more sense. And it was great to have that hypothesis verified when I noticed, oh, okay, people are actually filling these out and people are sharing these and stuff as well too. So these were exactly the things that I was wanting. I also noticed more overall engagement, both from the forms themselves, like within the forms, but then the things that came off of the back of the forms. So if I wanted them to, for instance, engage in a freebie or something that I had going on, then that led to more downloads, that led to more absorption, that led to more questions, that led to more opt-ins. And then lastly, what I noticed, Grace, from using video was fewer one-to-one meetings, because if I can gather the things that I need to in a simple example, like using a video form to replace like a discovery call, now you can have fewer of those, and when it's time for these leads to become clients or customers or be in our audience in some fashion, like that cuts out that. And the asynchronous element of a form taking the place of discovery call videos, now that frees you up to do other things with that time, with that bandwidth. And I think when it comes to like workplace meetings, I know everyone wants to have fewer of those. So this could be enticing for any of our viewers who are watching that, those Monday meetings or those weekly meetings. If there's a way to do those, have fewer of those or have those take up less time now, that could be another reason to use a form. So those were the three big things that I noticed from my side. The completion rate increased, got more engagement both from my forms and the things that were on the back of the forms, and then I didn't need to have as many one-to-one meetings.
That's brilliant, Darnell. I love that. Anytime that you can save some time somewhere, and I bet as well being able to kind of like have that pre-existing or that Kickstarter relationship is such an icebreaker for moving forward down the line with a client or a customer.
Yeah, 1000%. You want to figure out ways anyway to be less harsh on people's time since it is in such rarity these days. So when you can do that proactively and say, okay, you can fill this out kind of on your own time, somewhat, maybe I might give you 72 hours, but it is better than trying to find the perfect time to meet over something that we can probably communicate through a video form. So when you can proactively do that and then put that forth before your clients are asking for things like that, you're just positioning yourself as having more authority in and leverage in the relationship, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Jasmine's dropped in the chat to replace this could have been an email. It can now be this could have been a form.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that maybe we will get to that point. And, hopefully, during my time here, I convince and entice y'all to use them or at least try them out for yourselves so that you can start to get similar results. I'm telling you, this stuff works, man.
Love it. Before we jump into the next section, what advice do you have for someone that's watching that maybe is on the fence about video? Is there something, are there times when you think, no, now's not the time for video?
Mm.
And how easily do you think people can get started?
Yeah, so this is a great question. And in thinking about what I wanted to convey during this panel, I actually didn't find many reasons not to use video. Like, I really only found one. But in terms of advice for people, I mean, there is so much, but I'm gonna try to keep it together, Darnell. As I told you, keep it together. Don't go down rabbit holes. That's just a reminder to self. Sorry to go down a rabbit hole talking about rabbit holes. Okay. One thing that I always like to think about is using an image of someone that you know, like, or trust, a companion, well, not a dog, but like another human, a companion in human form, someone, put them near your camera so that you get away from that awkward feeling of having a conversation with an inanimate object, such as a camera who is giving you no reactions whatsoever. Including a little thumbnail, a little school portrait or something of them, and talking to that instead of the camera can help you just break out of that mode because now you got another face to interact with. And I know that that's a hard part for people. Also, making when it comes to video, making it more intimate versus broad. What do I mean by that? I mean, thinking about your ideal target audience member and just having a conversation just with them, like with one person. It's not about sending, whether you're sending this form out to thousands of people, to just have a conversation with one person on the other end. So getting out of your own head and saying, I need to impress all of these people. Now it's just one person, right? I also would say, Grace, make it about your audience versus you. So usually it's vanity involved, it's insecurity, it's like, how am I showing up on camera? Oh man, I got pimples and stuff, or like I'm breaking out right now. You got to get up, you got to release all of that because it really is about the people that you're sending it to and the respondents. So the more that you're tripping on your own insecurities, you're probably doing your target audience a disservice because now they might be left to work with an inferior product or service, in lieu of working with you because you're not willing to test out video in your forms. And also, this is from a prior training that I did with you all, Grace, but the it's what I call like the little mini framework of delight, date, and dance, where in a scenario where you're using a video form to, for instance, attract leads or qualify leads, I like to think of it as somewhat like dating in a professional context. And if you can delight them, if you can court them a little bit or get them interested in what it is that you have to say throughout the rest of your form, you're doing well already. And then when it comes time to date, you know, you want to impress your respondents for your video forms by engaging with them, by interacting with them, by continuing to be of service, by interacting and eliciting emotions and stuff from them. These are all things that just psychologically work and I think get people to choose you over the next entity or service provider, even when they can't explain it themselves. And then the dancing part. Now, there might be a lot of people watching this who don't like dancing, or, you know, in addition to video, like dancing is not a good look. But what I mean by that is being able to lead them onto the floor so that when you're giving them a lead to follow and you are showing up on video, like they will feel comfortable likely responding through audio or video as well, so they're beginning to mirror you, and that's better for everyone, right? We want to bring more humanity in these. These are just tools that we're using, so how do we bring more humanity in an age of AI as well too? And so we have to make these interactions, they have to come back to a very like humane way of interacting with people, you know? So that's also something that I would say in terms of attracting people. And then lastly, to keep these videos short and concise, 15, 30 seconds maybe. So you're not in these for like 5-minute videos. So being able to convey what you need to in a short amount of time, let the rest of your form in text format, like be able to do the rest of what you need to say for you. Don't overthink it. Humanity is better than perfection in this context, right? Than trying to come off as like overtly professional and too staged and scripted. Let it flow, improvise a little bit, and I like to say, you know, imagine somebody is just kind of walking into your clothing store and they're just there to get a pair of jeans or something, and you're just guiding them to where they need to go to find what they're looking for. So it's a face-to-face interaction, but it's in virtual mode, and those would be some of the pointers that I would give to people in terms of like just loosening up, letting go, making it about your audience member versus you. These things will begin to shift your perspective and make you a lot more comfortable on video.
I love that, Darnell, and there's a lot of love in the chat for you as well. I think we might have to rename the session to Delight, Date, and Dance. It's one of my favorite analogies that you have for using video. So thank you for sharing that again with us.
Yeah, appreciate that. Appreciate that. Happy to rename stuff. I do like alliteration. I do like trilogies and things and threes and stuff. So there's some OCD stuff going on there. So that's probably why. Anyway,
Well, we're gonna dive into some more tips and best practices next. And Darnell will be back joining us shortly. Before we skip on, I have another quick poll for everyone. So we want to know about your challenges. So what's your biggest challenge with using video? So is it that you feel quite shy about it, or you just still not sure about the benefits of using video? If you want to drop your choices, make your votes now. We would love to hear about it. All of this is really important feedback for us as well, because we can take this away and hopefully help you on the road to success with video. A few people still not sure about recording a good video, some people feeling shy, not some people not able to afford the upgrade yet. I hear you totally. So hopefully we can continue to share some insightful stuff during this session. I'm going to end the poll now, and I'll share the results real quick, and then we are going to move on. So thank you so much, Darnell. I'm going to bring you back out again in a minute, so don't go anywhere. Okay, love it. Right, let's move on to our best practices session. So we are going to hear from Suzie now. She is our video production lead at Typeform. She's had a lot of experience with working in video and recording a lot of videos for Typeform. She is the voice of Typeform. So we are super glad that she was able to record this quick video sharing some of her tips and best practices. So here we go. Let's pass it over to Suzie.
Hey there, I am Suzie. I am the video educator at Typeform. And so I have a lot of experience with video and I have a lot of experience being on camera. So today I want to share with you some tips on recording a good and impactful video question. So I totally understand a lot of people don't feel comfortable being on camera. It's not a very natural thing to do to speak into a machine. And I think a lot of people get really nervous and they don't know how to sound good, look good, and they don't know what setup they should have in order to record the best video. But I am here to show you that you do not need any fancy equipment. You do not need anything at all other than your phone or your laptop to be able to record a really good video question. So I'm going to show you an example of a good video question and a bad video question, and I'll compare the two so that you can really see what to do when you're recording your video question and what to avoid when recording your video. And both of these videos were recorded using the same iPhone 11, and it is 2025, so that is by no means a new iPhone model. But you can see that you don't need anything fancy to be able to record a good video. So this is an example form. This is a candidate outreach form, and I am using this to collect job applications for a role at my company, Glossylox. Okay, so this is the first video question. So we're basically asking people to submit a video saying why they make a good candidate for this position. And so by being on camera myself, I am asking them to do the same in return by adding a video answer. So let's take a look at the first video question that I want to show you. Okay, so we want to know what makes you a good fit for this position. Okay, you can probably guess that this is the example of a bad video question. So there are a couple of things here that I want to draw your attention to that maybe have already distracted you. The first is there's a lot of noise in the background. So I was walking down the street, there was construction going on, there were cars passing. So I didn't necessarily find the best location or the most quiet location to film this video. You can also see that the lighting is behind me, so maybe it's a bit of a harsher lighting and it's a very close-up angle. So I just filmed this in selfie mode with my phone. I was walking down the street and maybe it feels a little bit rushed, a little bit unprofessional. And in terms of the content itself, all I did was just ask the question. So here you can see in the question itself, I ask that same question. So in this example, it's not really the most impactful use of a video because I'm just regurgitating exactly what I've written there. So I would say this is not the best example of use of a video question. So the video quality is bad, the sound quality is bad, and the content isn't really valuable. So now let's check the example of a good video question. So this is the same. I'm asking for the exact same information, but now I've done it in a different way. So let's check it out. Hey there, I am Suzie from the hiring team at Glossylox. Okay, so we want to know, why do you think you would make a good fit for this position? So feel free to talk about any relevant experience you may have, or maybe even some of the values that you share with our company. Really, the floor is yours. Just make sure to keep it under 2 minutes. Good luck, and we look forward to reviewing your application. Okay, so obviously this video question is a lot longer. I will get to the content in just a second, but first let's talk about the setting. So as you can hear, it's in a quiet setting. There's no background noise, so it's a lot easier to hear and understand me. Also, I have the light coming from in front of me, so I actually just propped my phone up in the window in front of me, and I was able to record that and get that nice natural light there, so I don't have any additional lighting at all in this video. And in this case, I used the back camera to record this, not the selfie cam. And I think, at least for this phone, the quality on this camera is a little bit better than the selfie mode. But again, I didn't have anybody helping me. I didn't have any sort of tripod or anything. I just propped this up on a window. And then, of course, we have the content itself. So in this case, I gave a lot more context. I introduced myself, which is important because you want people to feel comfortable responding to you and you want them to know who you are, not just some random person asking for a video. Also, I did provide a lot more context as to what I was looking for. So this is going to help me get better video responses because people have a better idea of exactly what I'm looking for. I gave them that 2-minute time limit. They can really hone their answers a little bit more and I can really get exactly what I'm looking for. So that's important as well to make sure that you're getting the value and the quality of answers that you want by giving value yourself. And then, of course, this was a little bit more scripted, so I did write a script, but I hope that I came off a little bit natural. What I did do was I did this take multiple times, so I probably recorded this maybe 5 to 10 times. And so the more you record, the more you practice, the more natural you'll seem. So even though I had a script, I wasn't reading off of a piece of paper, I wasn't reading off of a script, but I had practiced it enough to more or less know what I wanted to say. So that's really important as well, to kind of plan what you're going to say so that you can be really concise in what you're asking. Okay, so those are my top tips for recording a good video, and you can see the difference. Even using the same camera and lighting and audio setup, you can see that location matters and content matters. So just make sure that you have the right environment and that you prepare beforehand, and you will be a star on camera. Thank you so much, and I hope these tips empower you to create some really good video questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much to Suzie for sharing that. Hopefully that was useful to everybody. Feel free to drop in the chat if you have any feedback for us. And don't forget, if you've got questions, you can ask them in the Q&A section as well. So to wrap up and recap what Suzie just mentioned, finding a quiet spot is super important, as we saw. Making sure that the light is in front of you, so it's behind the camera. If you're recording on your phone, use that back camera because generally it's a better quality. Writing a rough script or making some notes, and then making sure to introduce yourself and give plenty of context to really get the value back from whoever's responding to you. Practice makes perfect, right, Darnell? Is there anything that you would add to that in terms of top tips? I know you already shared some, but have you got anything else that you would add?
Yeah, you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So a few things. So like in addition to this, yeah, because I'm not trying to be redundant, because she did give some really good ones. So yep, the lighting. I would say, yeah, she touched on like everything that I would have said. The only other thing that I would add to this, Grace, would be in terms of like practicing. And just as Suzie said, like it took her like 5 to 10 takes to do that other video. My tip would be to hit record before you think that you're ready so that you can get like all of the pre-recording jitters out. I don't know if other people on this in this webinar are like me, but there's something about knowing that something is being recorded that makes a certain, I guess, switch go off in my mind, and then I mess up like everything. But when I know I'm not recorded, like it's all coming very free flowing. So my hack for that was to just hit record and let the whole thing play out, man. Just let the whole thing play out and cut out the part that is good. And so in Susie's example, like those 5 or 10 takes for me would have lasted the entirety of the 5 minutes, but like take 4 was the best one. And you just snip off the parts that don't work. So that's my super tip, man. I think that's underutilized. Like just hit record, go through all of your preps, like you looking off on camera, you coming across like way too scripted, it doesn't feel right, all of that stuff, get that all out the way. And that take that comes at like minute 3 or 4, you can just trim off the parts that you don't need. That makes it flow better than being like, oh man, I nailed it on that recording, but I nailed it that time, but I didn't record it. Now I got to go back and stuff and do it again. So that would be the one I give to people.
I love that. Thank you, Darnell. There's a couple of people in the chat that are totally relating to you there as well. So thank you for sharing that extra nugget of wisdom.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Darnell. Hopefully we've got time for Q&A at the end. So we're going to say goodbye for now, but we'll see you at the finish line.
Okay, sounds good. All right, appreciate
Thank you. Right, up next, we're going to dive into the Typeform workspace with Mau, our product manager, and he's going to take us through how all these features actually look when you're plugging them into Typeform. Mau has built a lead generation workflow for us. He's taking on the role of a real estate agent. So let's check out what he has built.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining. Today, we're going to explore how you can transform a simple data collection form into a powerful tool for building human connections. To show you this in action, I'm going to take on the role of a real estate agent right here in Barcelona. So let's imagine I'm an agent. I'm great with clients face-to-face, but my lead generation process feels cold. I use standard online forms, and the leads I get are just flat text in a spreadsheet. They tell me what people want, but not why. There is no emotion, no personality. I want to stand out. I want to connect with potential buyers from the very first click and get the rich, qualitative insights I need. That's why I am turning to Typeform's video capabilities. Let's build out my new lead gen form together. Okay, here we are in the Typeform builder. As the agent, I have already added some basic questions about budget and neighborhoods. But now I'm going to add my secret weapon, a personal introduction. I'll add a video question. Now I can upload a pre-made polished video file, or I can just record it right here. Let's use one that I already recorded for this demo. Okay, now let's take a look at it. Hola, I'm Mau, your property finder here in Barcelona, and I am so excited to help you find your dream home. This form will only take a couple of minutes to complete, and it will give me everything I need to get started on a personalized search for you. Let's begin. Perfect. With that simple recording, I've laid the groundwork for a genuine connection. But we can make it even better. Let's dive into the video preferences. First, feed video. We can choose how the video is displayed to make sure it looks great. In this case, the way it was is what we need. Next, the thumbnail. I can scrub through the video to find the perfect frame. A friendly smiling thumbnail makes all the difference. Now let's say I wanted to clean up the start or the end. With the trim video tool, I can easily trim the clip. Accessibility and clarity are crucial, so I'll ensure the captions toggle is on. Typeform automatically generates them, and with the captions editor, I can quickly review and edit them for 100% accuracy. This ensures everyone can understand my message even with their sound off. Finally, I'm going to enable delay interaction. This simple toggle keeps the continue button disabled until the video has finished playing, encouraging the respondent to watch my message first. Okay, my intro is set. Now for the most important question, where I want to get that rich emotional feedback. For this, I want to get a video or answer response. Let's go. I have selected the video and audio answer block. In the settings, I can configure exactly what kind of answer to allow. I can choose video only, audio only, or a mix of video and audio. I can even include text as an option, which is great for accessibility or for users who might be in a public space. For today, I will allow both video and audio to give my client flexibility. Let's publish this and see how it looks for our potential buyer. And here we are. Let's call this client David. He is on his lunch break and he opens my Typeform. He is immediately greeted by my video. He sees the captions, so he understands perfectly even in a noisy cafe. He feels a real sense of connection. He is not just filling out a form anymore, he is meeting the agent. Let's go through it. Hola, I'm Mau, your property finder here in Barcelona, and I am so excited to help you find your dream home. This form will only take a couple of minutes to complete, and it will give me everything I need to get started on a personalized search for you. Let's begin. Every dream home has that one special feature. I'd love to hear about it in video, but feel free to use audio or text if that's easier. What's the one must-have you are dreaming of? Now, I'll take the role of David recording his answer. Hey, great question. Okay, my number one absolute must-have is a balcony. Not just a tiny balcony. It needs to have a space for a small table and a couple of chairs. I work from home, and the idea of starting my day with a coffee out in the Barcelona sun, honestly, that's the whole dream for me. So yeah, a sunny, usable balcony. That's the one. Let's finish now this form with some contact details. Now for the payoff. Let's go back to my perspective as the agent. I get a notification for the new lead and open my results inbox. Let's take a look. And look at this. It's not just a row of text. It's a rich, interactive profile. I can see his budget and neighborhood preferences. But right here is the gold. Compare this rich insight, the video, his tone, his exact words in the transcript, to a simple text answer that will have just said balcony. This is not just data, it's understanding. So, as we have seen, by taking on the role of an agent and integrating video, I transform the entire lead generation process. I use a video question with detailed preferences and captions to make a personal introduction, and I use a flexible video and audio answer type to capture incredible, rich emotional insights. Finally, in the results panel, I use the playable video and the automatic transcription to understand my new lead on a completely different level. You don't just have to collect information, you can start a conversation. And that is how you build better relationships, get better data, and ultimately grow your business. I can't wait to see what you will build. Thanks for watching.
A big thank you to Mau there. That was super insightful. And I think you do have a career as a real estate agent if you ever decide to switch things up. As you can see, Mau talked through recording or uploading your video question. You can select that friendly thumbnail to make it look better. I know I've definitely had moments where I've recorded a video and I've thought, oh, that's a terrible thumbnail. So that's good news. Trim the video, check those captions to make sure they're really accessible, and then allow respondents to be able to reply using video, audio, or text for richer insights. And also you can add the text to your video question as well, just for that extra level of understanding. It's not just someone giving you some information, you're building that connection ahead of time, which is really awesome stuff. Here's what we're learning from our customers so far. So we've already seen a lot of people adopting video and audio features in customers, and 82% of respondents who watch a video question stay engaged with the whole form, whereas with text questions, the continuance rate is 57%. So I think Darnell touched on this earlier on about what a difference it makes to include video in your forms. We're also seeing that they pair really nicely with other questions like rating questions, multiple choices, and video answers. And we're seeing a lot of people on our talent plans, which were released back in the summer, starting to use video questions or collecting video answers as well. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot of good stuff that's coming out of these video features already. When you're thinking about using video and audio answers, we're seeing a lot of people that have use cases like talent acquisition, as I mentioned, maybe customer or employee engagement, feedback and testimonials is a big one, coaching or education, podcasts and interviews as well. So maybe that's something, maybe you're seeing your use case in there, maybe that's kind of helpful to make you think about whether or not you would want to adopt these features. And some of the benefits, as we've already talked about, those qualitative insights, richer, more emotive responses that you can get from video and audio. And it really helps to build a connection and save your team time as well. And then, of course, that accessibility element as well, right? So if you switch on the option to be able to leave a video, audio, or text answer, then you're really covering all bases for whoever is responding to your form. So hopefully this is all useful for you. Don't forget, if you do have questions, you are more than welcome to drop them in the Q&A section, and we'll try to get to them at the end of today's session. Just one little extra bit to share with you today. We're going to share a real world example from Upcounting, as I mentioned earlier on. They've been successfully using both video questions and answers in their recruitment flow. So I was lucky to catch up with Abir, who is the co-founder of Upcounting, and he was telling us about how it's really made a massive difference to the quality of submissions that have come through their recruitment flow. And fun fact, I did send Abir a video form with a bunch of questions, and he replied to me with video answers. So what you're seeing is kind of that testimonial collection, that feedback collection use case as well here. So let's hear from Abir and his experience using video in his recruitment flow.
Hey, my name's Abir. I'm a CPA. I'm a fractional CFO for e-commerce brands, and I'm a co-founder of Upcounting, which is a fractional finance service for e-commerce brands. We're growing fairly fast, so our Typeform usage has quite a bit of recruiting support that it provides, as well as lead generation and being part of the sales process. We use Typeform very aggressively as part of our recruiting workflow. We're hiring all the time for a myriad of different roles. We're onboarding like 1 to 3 people a month. And so to be able to support that, because we're hiring for so many different roles and we're posting across many different places like LinkedIn or remote.com or different sorts of job boards, it's helpful to use Typeform as the single place where all of the data kind of flows in. That way, regardless of where we're posting or what role we're hiring from, we have a consistent workflow for the applicants to go through. And then, of course, all that data being dumped into a spreadsheet, pretty straightforward, helps a lot, especially because we like spreadsheets. Not to mention the fact that we can also set up a lot of automations through things like Zapier as well. Video has been a very important part of our recruiting process for years, essentially, in part because it does help quite a bit with respect to screening for people's communication skills, which especially in certain roles are quite important because we have client-facing roles, as well as the fact that it is a good screening mechanism to get a quick taste of a person's kind of like personality, their vibe, if you will, but at the same time, just kind of making sure that the individuals are serious about the application. We don't ask for anything too overwhelming, but just a little bit of a quick submission from a video perspective. Now, in the past, we used to do that by requesting a loom to be added to the Typeform, essentially, but that wasn't the best process. Number one, a person had to have a loom account or had to go and make a loom account. Number two, that while they're going through the Typeform, they have to essentially switch to a different website or a different application or a different app, I suppose. So they had to switch to a different app. And if they're kind of working on their phone, that can be a little bit convoluted as well. And then number three, a lot of times people would just submit some sort of made up URL to be able to kind of cross that question because it was required, but there was no sort of test to make sure there was a proper Loom URL per se. It was just a URL test essentially in that field. But the video ask feature has been extremely helpful in that regard because of the fact that, number one, it means that people don't have to switch around to different applications. They can record right in the app, which makes it far easier to do. On top of that, because I can record a video prior to them recording a video, I think it improves reciprocation because of the fact that they get to experience seeing me talk to them and ask the question. So they're more willing, I guess, to be able to submit something. But the really subtle additional benefit to that is because of the fact that we also run Facebook ads for hiring, we're able to make that field required, which then allows the algorithm to optimize for people who are actually submitting videos, which has substantially increase the volume and quality of applicants we've been getting as well. Not to mention, it's also made it a lot easier to kind of screen people and decide who we actually want to send interview invites to as well, because everything's just kind of right in the platform.
Classic rookie error there. Thank you, Mau. Sorry, everyone, I was muted. What I was saying was that a big thank you to Abir for sharing their story. Really good to hear the evolution of video in their recruitment process and how they're now keeping it all in Typeform. This is a quick snapshot of their form. You can see that it's really adding a layer of engagement to the recruitment form. You get a sense of the company culture as well as the job role from the hiring form. And then through the video questions, you get to meet one of the co-founders, which I think is a really nice touch. And I'm sure it helps to give potential clients, candidates even, a sense of the company culture before they're applying, which will increase the quality of the applicant. As you can see, I did apply for a job there. So let's wrap up what we have talked about today. We have just a few minutes left, and I do want to get Mau and Darnell up for questions. Feel free to screenshot this slide if it's useful for you. But basically what we've said today is you don't need to have a professional studio or expensive kit to start using our video and audio features. Practice makes perfect, but obviously, as Darnell says, hit record and go for it, and cut out the bits that you're not interested in. People tend to mirror your behavior, right? So if you want to get a video answer, really consider asking the question via video first. Don't forget to edit those thumbnails and captions, and offer respondents the option to reply by video, audio, and text for that added accessibility and for those richer insights as well. Let's get cracking in the Q&A. If you do have any questions, please do feel free to drop them into the chat. Phoebe's very kindly sharing a bunch of great resources as well that can help you get along with your journey. But I'm going to invite Darnell and Mau back up onto the stage. At the moment, there's not a huge amount of questions, but maybe some will come through as we chat. Darnell, there is one here for you though. Someone is asking how your video strategy has evolved over time with the different technologies.
That's a great question. I would say it has evolved in the sense of learning more about the art of storytelling, the art of ethically convincing someone to take an action, no matter how big or small that action is. So like I've evolved my game on storytelling, and at the same time, concurrently, this technology has evolved in a way to where videos inside of forms, everything all in one place, the degree of cohesion and seamlessness has just helped me become a better storyteller. And they just both happen. These things have just happened at the same time. My video strategy is simply how do I lower the trust barrier for someone so that I can get them to take the action that I want to? And sometimes, y'all, that's as small as just getting to the next question in a form. Sometimes it's as large as working with me one-on-one, perhaps. So I'm looking at, what do I want them to do? Am I trying to elicit from them? Data, feedback, their opinions. And how do I make that as simple and as like worry-free and painless as possible? That's it. That's the only video strategy. And it's like, how do I do that in the least amount of time and with the least amount of like questionings? So I think I lastly would say super quick, Grace, was from a practical standpoint, my strategy has evolved from like asking open-ended questions to more like multiple choice, and or inviting them, if it does require a longer response, to be able to mirror my behavior. So I would, I'm including those three options. You can respond back video, audio, or text. And so it is thinking in those terms of saying, I want to elicit the feedback in as simple a method as possible, but also I'm not even making this too hard on you, because I've thought a lot about how a person is usually going to respond, and they can just pick and go from there. So it takes them like way less time to be able to give me what I need, versus like asking too many more open-ended questions. So those would be some ways that my video strategy has evolved. And I appreciate the question. Love
it. Thanks, Darnell. There's another one here from Ish. He's saying, and this is up for grabs. Any of us can answer this one. I have a quick CSAT survey that takes less than a minute to complete, but I already struggle with engagement. How does video engagement compare for something quick like this? So I guess would you replace, well, maybe not replace, but would you add video in some way to try and engage people with the CSAT survey?
Maybe I can jump in a second. Sorry. Hi, thank you for your question. I'd say that, so what we have seen is that video forms work very well, especially on complex form, right? Because they require more engagement and require to build more trust. But we have also seen, for example, that video work really, really well for things like rating or for video answers, where normally people can express how they feel about product and they give feedback. So the combination of these two things can give you probably some of what you need. I cannot tell you exactly if that one is better than the other. It will depend on how you want to elaborate your questions and how you want to, what's the context that you have to present to your audience in order to get their feedback in this sense. But maybe considering video can give, or using video can give you that opportunity to connect on the level where where you can increase the engagement. And this is the big opportunity that video offers, right? This piece of text is not connecting with people. How can we connect? Darnell, I don't know if you want to add something to it.
No, just piggybacking off of what you said, Mau, which is true. It's just like the longer the text is, that probably makes more of a case for using video so that you can communicate that at least in a more eloquent manner, or explain things that would read better from video form rather than text. And so it's also, I think, about the context of the form. So applicants trying to get hired at your firm is different than like you trying to elicit data from your own customers, right? One is where people are likely wanting the job. They'll probably read through everything, even if you have no video questions, if you're trying to hire someone. But if you're trying to engage customers who already probably don't like filling out forms as it is, because the forms that they filled out have been sterile and asking similar questions, that makes a case for, I would say, again, adding kind of a face to the brand, coming across as this is a human company, a human entity to be working with, and I would love to work with you in some fashion, and that's what we want to be communicating. So that's all that I would add to what Mary said, but I thought what he said was already good.
Love it.
Yep.
Thank you both. Sorry, Mau.
No, I also want to add something, and it's just going back, for example, to Suzie's video where she was sharing some tips. The same problem and the same form can be solved, even both of them using video, right? But the same problem and the same form can be solved in two different ways. One can be quick, where you just want to send something quick and you expect them to engage with that. That might work if you already have some connection with this audience. This is, for example, when you are screening something for, also going back to my example for the real estate agent, the first thing they do is to call you, right? But after that, they might send you a WhatsApp message. So it depends on also in what part of the process you are, how quick can be this communication, or if you are just in the process of building this trust, then the same form or the same question can be asked in a completely different way, but that helps you to build this connection, which is what video offers.
This has been really insightful. Appreciate both of you there for sharing that, and hopefully, Ish, that helps, or is some food for thought anyway of how you'd like to approach your survey. We're nearly out of time, so I think we're going to have to leave it there. Don't forget, you can join us over in the Typeform community if you do have follow-up questions on anything that you've seen today. So what's up next? Well, next up, we actually have the Typeform Awards. So we're going to jump over to there very, very soon. We're going to drop some links in the chat really quickly. So if you want to learn anything more about video questions, as I said, follow up in the community, and you can also connect with Darnell. Darnell, do you want to tell us a little bit about the Forge community before we go?
Yeah, sure. So Forge is our ecosystem community that enables creative polymaths, entrepreneurs, business owners to essentially grow their impact, their ingenuity, and income without sacrificing their values and worth. And so, yeah, we have a QR code. Is that the one for that on the screen here? Yep. So
That
you can
is
scan that to learn more information. And then for for those of you who are Typeform customers and or Video Ask users, I did a couple trainings as well on those two products. If you like what I had to share here, that could be a reason to join us in Forge. We have recordings of those that have existed, how to attract leads and wow customers through interactive conversations and unlocking lead funnel excellence by harnessing the power of Typeform and Video Ask Typeform sister product. So yeah, check that out when you have a second. And yeah, lastly, I do have a special coupon code for those who end up joining us in the next day or two, and that's simply Typeforum, spelled with the U in there. So anyone who ends up joining us between today and tomorrow, put in that coupon code and you'll get 15% off of your first billing cycle. Typeforum.
Oh, love it, Darnell. Thank you very much. And thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate you sharing all of your video wisdom today.
Thank you as well. I appreciate the opportunity. It was a blast. I appreciate you as well, Mal.
Love it. Okay, so up next, we have the Typeform Awards. Go and grab yourself a drink. This is the last session of the day. We're going to close it with a big splash. So we get the red carpet out, and that's it from all of us here in this session. We'll see you over at the Typeform Awards. Thank you so much to everyone for staying on and watching us, and to all our awesome speakers today. We really do appreciate you. Thanks again, everybody, and see you at the awards.